if you looked at the standings right now, Indiana, Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, those would be, and Ohio State
Plays two
and
of those teams.
no. Ohio State is the only one out of those teams that's lost.
Okay.
You know what I
Ohio State
mean?
plays two of
So
those teams.
yes, they do.
So
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. I was just saying how it currently steps up. You know, Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon are in the pole position, which is not something I would have called before the season. So good on them.
That's an irrelevant stat because we have to play those teams.
There's only
And
half a
so-
season left.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
in
it's
that half a
irrelevant at all.
season, in that half a season, we see both of those teams. So actually, we'll see all three of those teams.
30-minute rivals, where we discuss the prior week of the rivalry and the week coming up. I am Marcus. This is Josh. He has labeled him as back of the bus Josh. I guess we forgot what show we was on today. It's all good.
Nope, back of the bus.
Because we repping both. No. We repping both because you follow us here at House Divided. Make sure you follow us over at Back of the Bus as well. For all the media news, we do dubs and nails over there. We have a good time. So all the non-sports related stuff. But anyways, back to it. We were on a bye week. You guys played big time kickoff or big time game, prime time game. Pretty good game. I was thoroughly entertained the entire time. A lot of jawing, some extracurricular activity. You know, they should be arresting Iggy for molestation because, I mean, he's just been going to college campuses week after week, just fondling guys on the football field. It's crazy, just running pockets. Robbery, we can probably get him for robbery too, petty theft, because he run into his pockets.
Are you done?
Mm-mm.
First of all,
just a few
just
more. Just a few more. Go ahead.
You got it.
You'll like some of it. Jeremiah Smith is a dog. He's a beast. You know, he got a little excited there at the end of the game. I figure, you know, he's trying to make a play. I ain't on his back about that. They just as likely that they don't even call that in another game. So I'm not too worried about that. Can we finally have a talk about JT and Sawyer? Can we finally come to Jesus?
That conversation.
No, we have
that conversation. No.
Oh, did y'all have that conversation?
We had that conversation.
Okay, I was about to say.
I brought it up like a couple weeks ago.
Let's come to Jesus. On that one because your boy JT couldn't hold Aiden Jockstrap. Your boy JT couldn't hold the Jabos. He couldn't really hold who was last year's. I mean, at least Jalen Harrell will give you 6 a season. Who else? This year, Josiah Stewart. There's no question. There's not even Josiah Stewart up at the top of the league in sacks, leading the most tackles for loss and sacking his defense in the Big Ten currently. Quiet stat. Shh, don't tell people. So yeah, no comparison there. And then Derek Moore is pretty close. I mean, production wise, it's right there.
Are you finished?
Let's just come to Jesus about it, because I mean, there's for some years now, there's been a lot
I'll
of
respond to that.
blowhard about JT, especially Sawyer. Sawyer is more of a run stuffer, but he was touted as a pass rusher coming into this season, so I can only take him at what he was touted at.
I'll respond.
Go ahead, man. I know,
but it won't be by comparing them to Michigan defensive linemen. It'll be comparing him to Ohio State defensive
Mike Morris had 8
of history. Anyway, okay. I saw an interesting tweet. I think it was today or yesterday that says in the 3.5 years that JT and Jack Sawyer have been here, they have total between the two of them 30.5 sacks. Okay.
They what now? They have what now? But in 3 years between the three of them, they have 30.5.
In the 3.5 years between them, they had 30.5 sacks. Hold that thought. Chase Young in 3 years, so not even 3.5, 3 years, eclipsed that. Chase Young by
how
himself.
many? How many? By how many?
Let's check real quick. I can't remember what the amount was. Chase
Is that's a combined 10 a year for 3 years?
OSU.
So that's about 5 sacks a year, which is right around what they give you. It's usually around 3.5, 4.5 sacks, I think, is the most they had in the season. So I mean, that's pretty close to accurate, it seems like.
Chase Young had 30.5.
He had 30.5 by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And you're also talking about probably the best pass rusher of, that elite era of pass rushers, the best of them in Chase Young, at least at the college level.
In his career, JT has 14. And Jack Sawyer.
Sackmaster.
In his career, Jack Sawyer has 16.5. So together they have 30.5.
And 4 of them things came in the Missouri game last year. 4 of them came in the Missouri game. Anyways, man, look, let's not belabor the point. I've always known what they were. We've had a conversation about what they were. They were, mid to slightly above average at certain things. Like, I think JT's freak athleticism will play well for somebody's defense in the NFL. Will it be at just straight up rushing the passer? I don't think he's prolific enough for somebody to pay him $20-30 million a season to go get a quarterback. That's not what I see. Maybe somebody else will think differently. Jack Sawyer is a little bit better in the run. And honestly, I think his moveset is a little bit better than JT. So if anybody's going to get the money for that, it'll be Sawyer. But
if somebody felt like they could get JT to his potential, which is the Penn State game, then I can see somebody doing that. But they would have to know.
But again, even at his potential, it wasn't like, well, no, I mean, he was getting in the backfield versus Penn State that game too. So I don't know.
But they would need to know, like, hey, I can definitely coach this kid to that level again. And for some reason, it's not happening
like
here.
The Eagles or the Ravens. But again, is he going to be the one that they call on 3rd and long to be one of the 3 rushers that they send while they're dropping 8?
It's not looking that way.
No, I mean, do I see him as a stand-up rusher, a guy who can play the passing lanes on slants and curls and stuff like that? Yeah, he's athletic enough to do that at the next level. He's not a pure pass rusher.
I have, throughout the season, I have liked what I've seen from Caden Curry at times more. I've liked what I've seen from Kenyatta Jackson more. At times, I've wondered what CJ Hicks would look like on the line.
On the edge or a down lineman. Boy, that is just disheartening, man. We went from safety, the linebacker. Now we talking D-line.
That's Sonny Styles.
Sonny Styles. My bad. CJ Hicks but he's the backup linebacker, right? Isn't he like the backup Will? Okay.
But he's not he's not the second best or third best linebacker we have. That's Arvo.
So here's the interesting thing from the game, right? Number one, like we said, no pressures. No recorded pressures, at least. I haven't done any film study on the Ohio State Oregon game. But
how are you taking over the Ohio State game? Hold on. You just took over the Ohio State game.
We didn't have a game. What else are we going to talk about? You want to talk about our practice last week?
I lead the Ohio State talk.
My bad, bro. Go ahead.
I've been waiting for this for so long. All season, I've basically just been like, yeah, we're going to stomp Marshall. Yeah, we're going to stomp Akron. And there's been nothing to talk about all season.
Oh, well, you got what you want. Yeah, you got plenty to talk about. Take the floor.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to say that I thought it was very interesting that at the end of this game, I feel a way about the Ohio State fans, just like you feel a way about the Michigan fans after some of these games, after some of their losses this season. Dog, if some of y'all feel like y'all can do better than some of these coaches, get your ass out there and do it. None of you know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to some of these coaching decisions, and I wish you would just shut the hell up. Yes, Ryan Day was not perfect in this game, but at the same time, I want to see any of you do any better than what Ryan Day has done. In fact, the coaching market doesn't even speak to anybody being better currently to fire Ryan Day. I think that's just, I'm so tired of hearing that. Now, Jim Knowles, it's a little different story. But for Ryan Day, at least as of right now, when our season isn't even over, Can we stop with the woe is me after every single not loss, but every single step back? After every single step back. Like I'm so tired of just the fan base being depressed after every single step back. We still have half of the season to play left. Yeah. I hate that shit.
Yeah. I will meet you in the middle on that one. I've hated the doom and gloom aspect of every misstep and mishap, because it was like, even before we lost, it was like, it felt like dread. And again, here we are halfway through the season, 4-2, and it feels like the season's already over. It feels like we're already have the wheels spun off. So
it's like, did you forget that there's a 12-team playoff?
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, not to mention the whole second half of a regular season to play. So I don't think people are really used to how long this season is actually going to be for some teams. And even the fandom and watching, they're not accustomed to watching football beyond the new year that long, like maybe a week or two, but like not into February, and that's where we're headed now. So, yeah, long season ahead of us. Am I allowed to say anything about the game? You want me to say anything about the game? You still got more commentary about the game? Okay.
Absolutely not. Okay. I still got a couple more comments. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For all the naysayers for Will Howard, shut the fuck up. Okay. Because the theme to this season, at least on this channel, has been Will Howard and his mistakes, and what are we going to see out of Will Howard when the pressure actually comes for him? Was the last play a mistake? Absolutely. But you know what I saw out of Will Howard in that? I saw the dog in him trying to make the most out of a play. It didn't work out in his favor, but I do feel like he was willing to do anything that he could to win that game at the end of it. So I am actually happy. And at this point, that's my quarterback. I feel like he did what he wanted, or I feel like he did what he could do in that moment, and it just didn't play out in his favor. And so I feel like more people should be thanking him than shitting on him currently. And I think he's going to try to redeem himself as soon as possible, especially with the rest of the tough part of the season that we have between Nebraska, Penn State. I think we have Indiana in a couple weeks after that. So this is the tough part of our season. I think Will Howard is going to try to, show and prove. If there's anybody, final thing that I got to say as far as comments go, and then we'll obviously have a back and forth, but if there's anybody that I would give any of this blame to, it wouldn't be Ryan Day necessarily. It wouldn't be Will Howard. It would be Denzel Burke looking like cooked chicken, getting burnt on multiple plays, huge plays. Dog, what are you doing? Getting caught looking underneath. Oh my God, it pissed me off so many times where he would just be looking like, oh no, where's the ball? Bro is taking off right behind him. He has no idea. He is absolutely lost on that island. Oh, for everything that Denzel Burke has seemed like in his freshman year, it's just not. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I want to see Jermaine Matthews. That's what I want to say.
Oh,
I want to see Jermaine Matthews. Oh! To reply to your Igbinosun comment, by the way, Igbinosun has always been handsy as a cornerback, always. So yes, he is probably out there molesting receivers, but he's been doing that since we've got him. So I'm used to that. And Trayshawn Holden is a bitch. Okay, that's my comments. Trayshawn Holden is a bitch.
I didn't even see the damn spitting. I didn't see it. But all right, so again, let me start back over. The lack of pressure was shocking. 0 sacks, no pressures. Even when they weren't getting the ball out quick and they were throwing downfield, it seemed like Gabriel was pretty comfortable. The balance Oregon was able to show in the first half was very scary as well. It seemed like Homeboy, the only thing that stopped them from running the ball more in the first half was the fact that they weren't calling it. Like they were more enamored with the arm of Gabriel, and it was working out, so they kept it rolling. But Literally
Jordan
every time they
James.
put the ball in the Jordan James stomach, it was 10 yards. It was
Jordan
first
James
down.
looked much better than what I gave him credit for before the game, and Dylan Gabriel came the ball out,
which was surprising because of how they were able to get up and really shut down Johnson the week before. It was just, very, very shocking to see them not really kind of step up to the challenge being on the road. Now, another thing that we talked about going into this that was going to be a key is what team broke first in the run game, right? Because in the first half, just as much as Jordan James on the side of Oregon was doing the job on the ground, Quinshawn and Henderson both were doing their things on the ground as well. Henderson bust for a long one. So it was kind of pretty even there. Even if you look at the rushing stats at the end of the game, it kind of weighs out pretty even, except for the stat that. So what I thought it was that Ryan Day went away from it. He started throwing the ball with Will Howard. Will Howard ends up with 35 pass attempts. It wasn't necessarily that they went and passed the ball all around the yard. They just were getting stuffed in the second half. Second half running stats were terrible. I think they ran it close to 20 times, but they only had like 12 yards.
Yeah.
They only had like 12 yards.
I think Quinshawn only had 20-something yards total. 23 yards and 1 touchdown. I heard a rumor that somebody had a broken hand and people didn't know whether it was Quinshawn or.
Well, so they lost two offensive linemen, right? They lost Josh Simmons and they lost Chabula. And then goddamn Simmons, they said is out for the season.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. That hurts so much.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people looked at Donovan Jackson as the best runner. I mean, the best offensive lineman. Josh Simmons, what he does for y'all in zone blocking schemes, especially on outside zone running schemes with Travion Henderson, has been huge this year. Even in the Oregon game, he was road grading. He was getting out front there for Travion on those pitches or the outside zones or those split zones. He was doing his thing this year, man. The run game.
Well, to be fair, I think people say Donovan Jackson more because they're more familiar with Donovan Jackson being good. Simmons had his struggles last year.
Last year, Donovan Jackson got stiff armed by a 190-pound DB named Rod Moore, so it wasn't looking like that last year. But this year he's looked pretty good.
I don't know what you're talking about. That didn't happen.
Oh, anyway, there's a clip of it. Somebody get it. Put it in the chat. Somebody put it in the chat.
Didn't happen. Anyway, losing Simmons is a big one, and luckily we have a bye week to kind of figure that out. But I don't know, man. We're gonna have to see what it's looking like once we play Nebraska.
A few more things.
Go ahead.
Let's retire BIA. Okay, let's retire it. Let's retire it. It's dead and gone. It's gone. It's gone. Let's not say it again.
No, that's true.
Oh,
it's gone for Denzel Burke.
It's gone.
I don't know that it's gone for.
First of all, listen, Dylan Gabriel threw for close for 400 yards, right? Well, how much did he throw for? Dylan Gabriel threw for 341, 10 yards a pop, 2 touchdowns. He only about 170 of that was on Denzel Burke. Now that's egregious for almost 200 yards. That's egregious. That's egregious. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Dylan Gabriel didn't throw for 200 yards. He threw for almost 350. He threw for 341. Okay, so it wasn't great collectively. You know what I mean? As a unit, it didn't look great.
Okay, but I can at least say the first great pass offense we played all year. Are they not allowed to have a bad game?
Sure. Yeah. Now I don't know
before they all lose BIA. I still think Hancock is a good corner.
Evan Stewart 7 for 149. Tez Johnson 7 for 75. Terrence Ferguson, the tight end, 4 catches for 62. Trayshawn Holton, who got kicked out at a very early stage, only had the 1 catch for 32 yards. Rest of the guys were around 10 yards in total. But fam, I mean, between Stewart, Johnson, and Ferguson, it was nasty business. And that was with Holton going out. What if Holton never left? What if he's not the dumbest guy on the field at that moment and has a Freudian slip and spits at a guy and laughs at him as he's running away to his impending ejection.
Yeah,
what if he doesn't make that boneheaded play? Then
I don't think anything changes. I think Dylan
no.
Gabriel still gets
Hold
his
on.
350.
Not only that, you got the missed field goal, right? The botched extra point snap. That's 4 points. Dan Lanning in the fourth quarter whiffs on the easy field goal to go ahead and take the lead. Goes for it on fourth down, gives it back to the offense, gives it back to Ohio State. They didn't go down and score and go up, right? So that's why when everybody was talking about the illegal procedure, it's like, oh, Kirby's so smart. Kirby's so smart. He put that guy on the field to make sure he had everything covered, even though they went away from coverage and they got a one-on-one. Like they threw the ball into what ended up being a one-on-one situation, and the guy actually made the play. It wasn't like Will Howard threw in the triple coverage because it was an extra guy on the field. But anyways, Dan Lanning's so smart. He did that on purpose. Well, even if I granted you that, and that he did that on purpose to run the time off the clock and just give up the 5 yards, fam, if he'd have taken the field goal, the possession before, or the 2 possessions before he gave Ohio State back the winning score, if you'd have taken the points, you would have been up. Ohio State would have been driving to try to score a touchdown, not kick a field goal to win the game. It would have been kick a field goal to go to overtime. You'd be up 32-29.
Yes. So yes, Oregon did things that kicked them
didn't really
kicked
like
themselves in their own
him
ass.
doing the illegal procedure thing. If he even did it on purpose, was him making up for the fact that he just couldn't take the damn points and stop doing the I gotta be Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
I gotta be Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Every fourth down is mine.
Oregon at times beat themselves, but so did Ohio State. Offensive pass interference, multiple multiple false starts. Like we did quite a few things to
That
mess
opening
it up
score, man. The opening score, it looked like an interception, and they just ran
I
it
think
on
that
through.
was an
They
interception.
didn't
I'll admit
stop
it.
the clock.
I'll admit it. I
So
was
there
like,
was a bunch of stuff back and forth, right? There was a bunch of stuff back and forth. I don't know what this game tells us, honestly, about both of these teams going forward. I don't think there's a determining answer out of any of this. For Oregon, I can't delete the Idaho and Boise State games out of my consciousness because there are teams that play like Boise State still in this conference, right? You know, that you will meet. So let's see what happens when that's the case, when we're not matching offensive aggressiveness with offensive aggressiveness. You know, Dan Lanning has found a way to win his way out of those games. What he hasn't found a way to do is to play conservatively when he needs to. Dan Lanning's going to win every game that he wins aggressively. And that, like, he's going to live and die by the sword. So if somebody forces him to play a thinking man's game instead of a who's going to finish first with the most points type of game, that's where he struggles. Ryan Day is going to give that to you in spades. He's going to play the up and down game with you all night because he believes he has the horses. And in most cases, he does. It's just when he has like talent that he seems to struggle there. I believe 1-7 versus top 5. Man, I do not wish those days when people used to bring up those erroneous nothing ass stats about Jim Harbaugh. I don't miss those days. I don't miss them. So I'm glad we're passing that shit off to somebody else.
I see so many people do that, and I'm just like,
Ryan Day is 4-5 on Saturdays in the month of October where he's wearing green underwear.
Last I checked, James Franklin has a way worse record than all of this. So what? Why? Why? But no, I think you're right. It didn't really tell us, or it doesn't really tell us about either team, to be honest with you. Obviously, this is Ohio State's first tough game, and so it sucks. But we only lost by 1 on the road,
right?
And I don't say that to be petty about it. I just mean it was a close game, right? And
with
then at the same time,
all the offensive mistakes, with all of the the defensive evisceration in the passing game and a bit in the running game too. They kind of got the yardage they needed on the ground when they needed it. I think that should be concerning. The fact that the second half, the running game got completely shut out, also completely concerning, especially because you're dealing with those still backup linemen pretty much going forward here. I hadn't really heard anything on Chabula. I don't know if you know what's
I
going
don't.
on with
Not
him,
yet.
but at least with Simmons is Stunsky. So there's a lot of questions to be answered, but I don't think there's anything definitive that comes out of this. So we'll see.
And at the
Will Howard
same
had the
time,
hiccup that I said he was going to have when there was light competition. I mean, but that doesn't have to tell the story of the whole season. It just kind of is what it is. For right now.
I took away from Oregon. I took away from Oregon saying that they only won by 1, but at the same time they also didn't have Jordan Birch. So
right, that's
this
a
could be
huge.
completely
That's a
different
huge
game.
part of it because they didn't get as much pressure as they probably would have with Birch too. So there's a lot of not still on the table, but right now it's advantage Oregon, of course. So
yep, but next time we see them, it might be a neutral venue. So
sure, maybe. I don't even know if I like the assumption now that after a loss, oh, we'll just see them again in Big Ten. If you get a chance to get back there, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Indiana is still undefeated. So is Penn State, thanks to goddamn Lincoln Riley.
Again,
Jesus.
If we win out, we'll be fine. Is that okay? Is that good?
That may not be the point. What if you went out, Penn State went? Oh, well, no.
We played both of them.
Penn State. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you went out. Okay. I mean, but it's a bit of an assumption.
That's not to just automatically assume. But if we went out, we'll see them in Indiana. It's okay. And we travel pretty well to Indiana. We travel pretty well to Eugene. But, when it comes to Indy, we'll be there.
Anywho.
Any thoughts on Illinois?
I was about to say, yeah, let's talk about the good guys. They have a game this week. We got 3:30 on CBS. We will be playing the Fighting Illini, who just barely escaped a dogfight with the team that they were beating. Was it 49-20 going into the second half?
Yeah, what in the fuck, Illinois? What the hell?
Hey, up 29 and end up going to overtime. After having all of the momentum in the world, right? Like, hey, y'all better watch out for Illinois. Michigan's struggling. Y'all better watch out for Illinois. I think it's still going to be competitive because they have dudes on defense. Sure. I think it's going to be competitive because they run a lot of RPO, which will nullify some of our pass rush. All in all, I cannot get the fact that you let a 29-point lead dissipate in a half. But Michigan has done some of that as well, just not as much. not 30 points. We haven't done that.
To Purdue.
So to Purdue as well. Purdue has 1 win on the season. They are absolutely the most dog shit team in the conference. Maryland's fighting with them for that, but I think Purdue has that in spades.
Oh, fuck Maryland. Too.
We
already talked about that. We talked about that.
Yeah, they're going through a tough time. Leave Maryland alone.
Okay. Well, they lost me my parlay.
I think I told you not to bet Maryland. I think I told you. Anyways,
it's been a couple teams.
So we got that right. Obviously, the offense is going to present a problem for us that has presented itself a couple of times with the tempo. I think Illinois will lean into that. But that's going to have a bit of an adverse effect for them because they are a team that typically likes to possess the ball. Right, they run RPO as a run control. It's not so much as a up tempo, unless they have to. And against Michigan, I think they're going to have to. I don't think they're going to sit in and try to tee off versus Josiah Stewart and Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham and all that. I'm looking at Wink Martindale, man, because there's a lot of question. It's a lot of question, right? It's been a lot of roller coaster with him. We've had the lowest of the lows in the Texas game where we're doing stuff we just don't understand. Certain personnel settings that don't make all that much sense to a lot of the layman's, include myself at times. We start to clean that up in the next few weeks with Minnesota and USC, but we have kind of these shaky second halves. And then now we get into the Washington game where kind of from jump, it seems like we're not in our right spots. We're back to looking in the backfield, biting on double moves. or some of those old bad habits are rearing their heads with young guys again. Zeke Berry, Jair Hill, those guys are going to get targeted for the rest of the season. So a different way to deploy the personnel, I think, in the second half, not as a primary way, but as a change up. So now if we're seeing that kind of resistance, if you're seeing guys getting picked on like that, do we have something that we can go to get them more comfortable and get teams out of that and to make them stop, just going for their first read at Jair, their first read and man coverage to Zeke Berry? We got to be getting out in and out of some of our core stuff a little bit more fluently. Can't wait so long. That's some of the stuff that I'm looking for at him. No more 6-man pressures. No more 6-man pressures. Other than that, on the offensive side, obviously it's a lot of people's wet dreams. We got Jack Tuttle in there, so we'll see what the bye week has done for him and their plan. I don't expect them to do much different than what they did with Davis Warren. I think they're going to come out and try to give you as much of last year's passing offense as they can. Let's see how far they've come in a week off from playing.
Yeah.
I hope to God that we find a way to give Khalil and Donovan more than, I think they got 14 carries apiece.
Mm-hmm. And that worked for one of them and not the other one?
Not the other one. Yeah. I'm saying I feel like the strongest part of our team still is what it is. And regardless of posture, regardless of narrative, regardless of what is said in press conferences, the football of it will prove itself out, right? If it can't be done, it basically won't be done. And then we'll be starting over again. I guess thank God for the second bye week this year, because we're going to need it. We're going to need it. Mm-hmm. Regardless, even if the Tuttle situation works out, because we still have problem on the offensive line. We still have, I think, some play calling problems in terms of rhythm, in terms of deploying the best personnel. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Indiana will be a nice measuring stick in how they have adjusted. I know they've been working hard on the recruiting trail. They just got another huge crystal ball for a big time player. So I know they've been out on the road. Hopefully at least half that time has been spent on scheme and film on Illinois, in the in-betweens while they're traveling. I'm sure it has. So interested to see how the team bounces back, man. This, again, 4-2 with one conference loss means absolutely nothing. Kind of gotta just take it week for week, see how the rest of the conference plays out. But it's not a bad position to be at. Nobody's really paying attention to you. You're in the late 20s in the AP, so you're gonna have a good 2 weeks here before the Oregon game, where nobody's really going to be paying attention to Michigan. Rep your stuff, get as good at it as you possibly can, get as healthy as you possibly can, and gear up for the Ducks.
For sure. Yeah, hopefully that bye week was a productive one for you guys, and hopefully you make the most of it.
Oh, I hope to see it, man. We will see what they came up with and how it goes from here. I'm all for it if it works. If not, we will be back to square one, but maybe not exactly square one, because at least both of the options that we will have to eventually move to have played. And, I don't know how much rep Davis Warren's been getting here lately. Obviously, Alex Orji played Minnesota, USC, and the Washington game first half. So not too far removed from game time, but still the herky-jerky nature of the offense can't be really conducive to young quarterbacks, nor a guy who basically missed the entire offseason due to injury. So,
yeah,
we shall see. We shall see how that goes.
I'll be watching.
All in all,
I got nothing else to watch.
Yeah,
no, I'll be watching.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. I hope Sherron has taken a little bit more control over what's going on in the program and put his imprint on it. Because, I mean, win, lose, or draw, you're going to be the guy who wears the brunt of the blame. So if you're going to go down, you might as well go down on your decisions and not the decisions of, your trusted staff.
Facts. One last comment before we go. Yeah, that's right, Johnny. Still smiling, baby. Still confident, baby. What? Season not over? What you talking
He
about?
doesn't have the same twinkle in his eye. It's not there.
I'm not hearing that. Season
It's
ain't
okay,
over.
man. Them superpowers got neutralized. It's okay. It is
No,
okay. All of that
I'm not hearing
invincible
that.
nature. Niggas was laughing at Michigan. You already have 2 losses.
I didn't say
Y'all,
that.
y'all a hiccup away from being right where we at.
I didn't say that.
No, not
I'll
you
shut my mouth.
specifically. I'm just saying the fan base. The
Okay,
fan base
well, no,
definitely
Fan base
was
is-
dancing on our graves. And now I'm looking at them on Twitter threads, losing their absolute shit. Fire Ryan Day,
Yeah,
fire
yep.
Jim Knowles.
Yep.
He's never won a big game. You can't win the big games. We need to have a serious conversation.
I hate you all.
It is food for my soul. It is feeding.
But as we noted at the beginning of this video, the fan bases are fucking fickle. So
Yo, for sure.
and that's us.
Let us know where you all stand in the matters on both sides of the rivalry there, how both games went and the bye week for us. Make sure you put it in the comments, like, share, subscribe. We do this every Tuesday. Also on Saturdays, we will be on the Big at 11 kickoff show. Had a good turnout last week.
Baby.
Looking to, get that up every week. Looking to grow that subscribership. Looking to grow the regulars on the stream. So come join us on this Saturday. Kick off before some games. We might get you off right on time before kickoff, before they start singing the national anthem. So we'll see you on Saturday.
Facts. Peace.